afternoon, everybody. I have a couple of housekeeping items before we start. Obviously, haven't talked to everybody in 2 weeks, understanding, and I could ask you questions about the bowl, which we're really excited to still be playing after signing day. But due to the fact that it is signing day, exciting day for our program, we're going to start with the signing day questions, celebrate the excitement of the new people joining our program. We'll leave some time at the end for questions, anything else you may have. But we're going to start there. Second thing is, obviously due to NCAA rules, we can only talk about the people that are on the sheet in front of you. We do have one addition. Jaden Gould is now officially in with his GIA paperwork within the last 5 minutes. So you can add him to your list of questions. And with that, I'll turn it over to Coach.
Really excited, obviously. This is one day of 3 with the signing periods. You have this period. You have the next transfer portal period, January 4 through 7. And then you have the first Wednesday in February coming up. But excited about the 4 New York. This is the most signings we had in the state of New York since I've been here. So we got 4 from New York. We wanted to go bigger with the O-line and the D-line. We've got 10 linemen on both sides of the ball, combined 5 and 5. And then when it comes to geographically, we have 9 guys that are either from the state of New York or connected to the state of New York. When it comes to our classes, we went young, we went transfer portal, we've gotten some JUCO, and I think if you look at it, it's almost like a third, based off of how old they are, young, medium, and older. So with that, I'm gonna open it up for some questions here. The thing I would like to mention is, once again, with the mid-year period with high school and junior college people, we've got 5 mid-year transfers, which is going to enable those young men to play spring ball for us, which will help with the numbers on the things that we're trying to get done on the football field. So with that, I'll open it up to questions.
All right, we'll start with signing day questions. We'll go Dan and Evelyn.
Coach, you talked about it, recruiting the state of New York and the most that you've had since you've been here. Just what you can say about the importance of keeping the home state home and what you saw from the gentleman that you did get signing opportunities from here on the first signing day.
Excited about keeping them home, no doubt. Excited about the people that we have signed. And opening press conference, I remember we talked about this. I said, I just don't want to recruit people from the state of New York. I want to recruit people that are going to show up and play in games so that not only their families and their loved ones can support them, but also the state of New York can get behind their own. This was a fabulous class. This was the state of New York showing off. I really think that these players are not only good football players, I think they're players that are going to be contributing greatly to our football team in the future.
Most of these guys have been committed to the class for a while now. Can you just kind of talk through the process of keeping these guys committed and interested through coordinator changes that you had kind of right as this was approaching?
They never wavered. They committed to Syracuse University. They committed to the head coach in front of you, and they never wavered one iota.
Coach, what are the conversations like with recruits now? As you mentioned, there's so much happening, portal, NIL, everything changes, it seems, month to month here. What are the questions like from the recruits?
I'm not going to get into the details of the questions, but I will say that I've heard questions that I've never heard before since I've been in coaching. And it keeps it colorful. We've been working 18-hour days, and we'll slide down to about 16 and 14-hour days here, working up towards the bowl. But coming to a theater near you, I mean, it's a new adventure out there.
Coach, how did you guys adjust to losing both of your coordinators kind of right in the middle of the end of the recruiting process and before signing day?
Well, first of all, I think it was like 2 and 12 hours, which was something completely new to me. But like Brent always says, I love good movie references. Heartbreak Ridge, Adjust and Improvise. To me, it's not, I've said this before, their jobs belong to either the head coach, the athletic director, the chancellor, or the university, Syracuse University. But their careers belong to them. And we make job decisions all the time, and they're entitled to make their career decisions. So they've made some decisions, and we thank them for their service. But now my goal as the head coach is, okay, we've lost a guy. Now how can we stay the same or get better? That's my goal. Can we stay the same or can we even get better from this loss? And that's the way I've always looked at it, as a challenge.
Jesse and Tom.
Coach, every member, multi-sport athlete,
Just how important is that these guys are playing other sports and not just specifically, I'm only going to play football?
First of all, position flexibility is important, but I want to hit the topic that you've talked about, because even recently you see so many young people really lock into one sport. They get trainers, the mom and dads, they're just pushed towards one sport. And the thing about being a multi-sport athlete, unless you're super, super special, and there's some that are out there, you're normally a star in one sport, but you're a good teammate in another. You're normally a starter in one sport, but you learn how to come off the bench and contribute to a team in your second sport. And I've always felt growing up that was extremely important, to understand the dynamics of that family, of not only being a starter, but being a guy coming off the bench, coming into a game, and knowing your assignment, so to speak, so that you can help some guys that maybe have some individual skills greater than you in that sport, but help them to a win and learn that whole team aspect of what's going on. I know it's a little long, but you hit a question that's really big with me. So I'm really big in letting those guys play as many sports as they can. And then, yeah, you're going to have one good one, but just like it's cool to you to be the star of the football team, it's also cool to see you sit the bench a little bit and play periodically during basketball and help them towards the winning championships as well.
Tommy, then Dan.
Coach, this is a class that will, very much load up the trenches. Was this something that kind of just happened as a recruiting period took place over the last year, or did you have it in mind heading into 2022 that we would load up there at D-line?
We wanted to load up. We wanted to change our bodies, and we want to change some of these seats to a double wide in this theater, and only have those guys sit there. And if we can get that done, I think we're going to be okay. Once again, the big car, little car thing, big car, you get into an accident, your car's messed up, your insurance pays for it, you walk home, you tell your wife about it. Little car, you may be in the hospital. So in the game that we're playing, the bigger cars normally win. So we're trying to get as big as possible, yet still be able to run the offenses and defenses and the special teams that we choose to run.
Dan, then Brent.
Coach Jaden Gould, who we just heard is now, officially all set to come here. You had recruited him the first time around. Getting him the second time around, just what you can say about him transferring in and what that conversation was like to essentially re-recruit him.
First of all, you know how I am. I don't like to go too much individual. So what I will say is I'm excited that he's here. And I will go back to, let's talk about the difference between recruiting somebody the first time, a high school freshman, where they were taking 5 visits for the very first time, compared to a transfer portal young man who's already gone through those 5 visits. And now when they come into my office, it's totally different. They don't want to go out. They can do the visit in one day. They want to look at their position coach. They want to look at their positions. They want to see how they're going to be used. They're looking at your offense and defense. They are breaking it down at a graduate assistant coach's level, because now they're making a business decisions. The lights, the glamours, their friends being at certain places. All that stuff was important the first time around, but the second time around, they want to make sure it's a fit for them, because this is the last opportunity that they get. So the conversations are a lot different than with the high school guys.
And kind of going off of that, the positives and negatives of the transfer portal that you've experienced as a coach, knowing that it's constantly growing, it seems like.
The positives is you get an opportunity to, get different personnels or players at the top of the food chain, seniors, juniors, or go back and get smaller ones. When you say the negatives, I just think the transfer portal is here to stay, and along with all the things that come along with it. Young people have the right to change their mind. And actually, if you're 17 and 18, you might need to change your mind. 21, 22, not so much. The thing that I will say is that, I know 2 of the guys that went into the transfer portal for us, they already have their Syracuse degrees. And if you come to a school and you graduate from that school, I am 100% with you that you should have the ability to go somewhere else if you want. I would be very reluctant to think that they could find a better degree than Syracuse, but after you get a Syracuse degree, to have the opportunity to play the game that you love 1 or 2 more years before you give it up, I think that's a right that everybody should have.
Brent, then Emily.
Coach, per what you said about, you don't like to talk about individuals, but an individual spawns a bigger philosophy. How do you go about the process of sticking with a player that committed to you and then gets injured? And then the decision-making process you have to go through. I have David Clement in mind specifically there, who got hurt and is somebody that you stuck with through everything.
Since I've been here, I said that anybody that commits to us and they gets hurt during their year, that will honor the scholarship. That is not written. That is something that has to be done by the head coach and the university and the athletic department. And it's different at different places. Other places will pull off, back off, and take back their commitment, which is their right. But that's not something that we would do.
Emily?
I know you beefed up your recruiting department a little, changed the staff around this off-season. I mean, what can you say about their work and how that helped contribute to the success of this?
Great question, Emily. The success of this class goes to coaches, the recruiting department. Should have opened with it. I apologize. They really did do a good job working, and there's more people. There's more people involved, and to coordinate them, the guys and the young ladies at the top of those food chains did a fantastic job. And I think that this is just the first part of more shows to come. That as our athletic department grows and our football department grows, we're going to need more and more of those type people to bring in classes like this.
Any other signing day questions before we open it up to a few bowl questions of our time? No? Any bowl-related questions at the moment for anybody? Emily?
Just wanted to clarify, is Rocky Long going to be on the sidelines as defensive coordinator for you guys at the bowl, or is it going to be Nick Monroe serving as interim there?
Nick Monroe will call the bowl game, and Jason Beck will call the offensive side on the bowl game.
Dan and Tommy?
Dino, having Jason here on staff already and then making the decision to elevate him to offensive coordinator, just what went into that for you and why that was the right fit, and then bringing in Rocky Long and knowing that 3-3-5 connection and how successful it's been for you, just why you brought in him.
Well, I'm going to start with Rocky. I mean, we've gone down this road before, and it didn't work out so well the first time we tried to get it done. But I really do appreciate all the people and the people out in the media that gave us the time and allowed us to get it done this time. Tony White did a fantastic job for him. We wish him nothing but the best in his new career move to that other school. And but to have an opportunity to get Rocky Long, you guys, this guy, you got to meet him. And I mean, I'm embarrassed to say this, and I'm going to get talked about, but I'll say it anyway. The guy is stronger than me in the weight room, and I'm not happy about that. I'm not happy about it at all. But you're talking about an extremely fit man that is the number 2 guy in this defense. The guy that started this defense was Joe Lee Dunn. But Rocky Long was taught by Joe Lee Dunn, and he's the standing Jedi Master that's still around. And if you want to learn it, this is the guy that you need to learn it from. And I can still visualize his first talk in front of the defensive players. And when he got done, I was excited. But when the players came back around my office, they were like, "Coach," I said, "I told you guys, just hold on. I told you." And I think it's going to be a really, really good thing. When it goes back to the Jason Beck, I think Jason Beck has been one of those guys that's done a fantastic job with quarterbacks across the country. When you put his record with quarterbacks and some of the quarterbacks and the numbers that I've been able to do as a head coach in my career, I think it's a natural. Coach and I was extremely, I asked him his opinion. He was extremely high on the young man. I was really impressed with him the first year here. And I think that between the combination of what he's learned so far and what we're going to give him here, I think he's going to have one of those guys that's going to be launching off into another fantastic career, kind of like a Sean Lewis or something to that effect. I really expect big things out of him in the future as he learns and he grows.
Coach Sean Tucker, Garrett Williams, Matthew Bergeron, it was a day we knew coming. We knew it was coming, declaring for the NFL draft. What's your memory going to be of those 3 that have been such big faces of this program and your team?
Oh, I don't know. Probably that they probably had like 5 stars between them. No. I mean, all those guys. I mean, Sean. I mean, what did he start off like 5th string? We had 3 running backs leave, and then we had another running back that got injured that moved him from second team to the starter, and the rest is history. I mean, Bergeron came in on a camp on a bus from Canada, and nobody knew his name. And we're looking at him, and we're like, this guy got a chance to be good. We can work with him. And still, we didn't believe in him. And then we had to have somebody do something that I don't like to talk about. And then we had to put him in the game. And then within 2 games, I was mad at the O-line coach because I'm like, this guy should have been playing from day one. Look at him. And his growth continued after that. And I mean, and Garrett, what can you say about Garrett? I mean, he's in another situation just like Cisco where, you know, he gets hurt mid-season. And I really believe the guy is going to be a number 1 or number 2 day draft choice based off of what he's already done. And when you get guys going to the NFL with injuries and they're still getting drafted day 1, day 2, that's telling you that is a dynamite player that was on a collegiate football field playing for your university.
Coach, to piggyback off that question, just how excited are you to see these guys that were maybe buried in the depth chart a little bit step up in the wake of, you know, Sean Tucker and Garrett and Matthew all leaving and going to the NFL?
You're going to stop it. You're going to make me smile now. Oh, okay, stop it. My body's doing that thing. Stop it. Stop it. Okay, we're at practice today, and I'm just watching. I'm watching exactly what you're talking about, and I'm watching. I'm not going to give you names, but I'm watching guys in positions that have been waiting. How would you like to be a guy playing behind Matthew Bergeron, knowing that, yeah, he's really good, don't get mad, but the chances of you playing in the game is not very good. Or you're playing behind Sean Tucker, or you're playing behind Garrett Williams, and you know you're only going to play if they need water, okay? If they get tired, and they don't get tired, they just don't get tired. Or maybe, you know, they get dinged up for a second, and nobody wants to wish that on anybody. But now it's their opportunity, and, you know, was it Wally Pipp? Okay, now it's your opportunity to make everybody forget about the guy you just replaced and see if they can all remember your name. I'm excited. They're excited. I'm not saying everything's going to be great the first time out. Everybody's got their first pitch. And I remember mine went right in the dirt. I mean, the catcher thought I was bowling. But after that, they get their second game, and they're going to get better. And we're looking forward to that. Great question.
Emily and then Brent in front.
Touched on it a couple of answers ago, but just what was the player reaction to the new coordinators, and kind of just where is morale around that situation heading into the bowl game?
I think it's very high on both sides. The Rocky thing, you guys, we have an interim defensive coordinator. Rocky's just observing the defense. I mean, guys get to come up and talk to him and stuff, but he's just observing for the bowl game, and then he's got influence in it, but he'll really get going with those guys afterwards. He's learning personalities and stuff like that. Now, Jason was involved, so, you know, the offense is really excited for him. They have a lot of confidence in him, and, you know, I'm looking to see what his first call is going to be. I hope it's not a screen. That's an inside joke.
You said we can meet Rocky Long, so I'm going to hold you to that, first of all.
Said you should meet him. I'm not sure I said you would meet him.
But I'm just curious, because one hand you had Jason, and I mean, that was instant. He was upgraded, ready to go. Did you consider Nick Monroe to be the permanent defensive coordinator? Is he a defensive coordinator someday? Just tell me your thought process.
First of all, that would be personal conversations between me and Nick. I would never say anything like that. Anytime you have the opportunity to get a master, okay, you have to look at it like this. If you get an opportunity to work underneath one of the top defensive coordinators, that time you spend with them is going to be growth, and you're going to acquire knowledge. And if you acquire that knowledge, that's going to make your company or your situation even better. When you get an opportunity to get Rocky Long, you can't turn that knowledge down. Okay? Not only can I not turn it down, but if you're in that defensive room and you want to run that defense, you can't turn it down either. We're talking about the guy that coached Tony White. We're talking about the guy that coached that other coach. You just got an opportunity because of something extremely sad happening. But now that person's going to get an opportunity to be a head coach. And they were all coached by this guy that's on our campus right now, that our players get an opportunity to interact with. You can't pass that up. And I think you guys will decide because you guys are in the media, but I'm okay with the decisions that I made with those two positions.
Take a couple more for Coach. Start with Dan.
Coach, you mentioned the importance of being in the trenches with this Class 5 offensive lineman. Just what you can say about what you brought in and what these gentlemen show that can maybe be effective right away. I know center is a position where you're shifting a lot of different guys, and you brought in John Reed and all that. So just what you see from this offensive line group.
I see some guys that are bigger. Okay, I see some guys with, you know, some attitude, and extremely intelligent. And if we can get those type of guys and get them bigger and stronger and faster, and then get them on the football field and keep them healthy, I think that we're going to have some really, really good days ahead.
Last one for Coach, we'll go to Tommy.
Coach, walk us through what Christmas Eve and Christmas Day look like for a head coach getting ready for a bowl game.
Christmas Eve is all the daughters, all the grandkids, okay, and the wife talking about all the Santa presents get out, and then they want to know exactly what's going to happen during the game. Okay? Christmas Day is great. This is really great, great, great. And now, how long are we going to practice? Who's practicing? Who are we getting out of the transfer portal January 4 through 7? How is so-and-so's injury? Is he going to be full speed or half speed? They are football people. God, family, football, in that order.
Thanks, Coach. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you, guys.
Happy holidays.
And happy holidays. And nothing's worse than having loved ones ask you questions, really good ones,